Hello, everyone. It's Mr. Colley. Today's topic is the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Cold War continues. Now, we all recall just recently we were talking about the failed invasion of the Bay of Pigs. JFK approved it. Okay. Now, Castro, this event caused him to reach out to our bitter rival during the Cold War, to the Soviets, asking for help. And the Soviets were happy to give this assistance. So the Soviets' first plan was to create a military base in Cuba. Now, understand geographically, Cuba is only 80, 90 miles away from the United States. So the Soviets knew that they were able to, on the Cuban island, they had the ability to put long-range missiles and nuclear weapons and point them at the United States. The United States, through the CIA and other ways, were able to learn that the Soviets already had equipment set up on Cuban soil. So, to make sure the information we were getting was reliable, US spy planes fly over Cuba and take pictures. And what they find out is very alarming. The United States found out that there were long-range missiles placed throughout Cuba already based at the United States, obviously posing a serious threat to Americans and to the country at whole. As you can see, there's a picture, an aerial view. So JFK, his first order of action, what he does, he creates a naval blockade. Let's step back for a second. What is a naval blockade? Consider this, picture this, warships blocking other warships from moving. So what the United States was trying to do was prevent the Soviets from putting any more missiles or any more supplies. Okay, now, the main issue we're having, there's this concept called, we learned this in World War I. There's something called the freedom of the high seas. No one owns international waters. The Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, people are able to move freely. And if one country prevents another country from moving freely, that is an act of war. Okay, so take a look at this. The blockade prevents the Soviets from delivering more missiles. The US, they were violating the freedom of the high seas, just like the Germans were violating the freedom of the high seas in World War I when they were bombing merchant ships without warning with submarines, U-boats, okay? Soviets were aware that this was an act of war. This was a very tense time. This was the closest the United States has ever been to a nuclear war. Remember, they called it the Cold War for a reason. The Soviets and the United States did not fight because they both, with the press of a button, had the ability to end the other person's country, the world, okay? So that this is the closest, and the expression they use, this is the closest to the Cold War getting hot or heating up. Okay, what did we learn? We learned that communication is the key. If people could talk things out diplomatically, peacefully, things could be resolved versus using weapons and threat of war. Robert Kennedy used his negotiating skills, met with Soviets behind the scenes during this crisis, this 13-day crisis, and basically was able to strike a deal. The United States would pull their weapons out of Europe and Italy. They were pointed at the Soviet Union, and the Soviets would pull their weapons out of Cuba. Okay. Another example of how communication and talking could solve problems more than warships and the threat of war and ending the world. Guys, remember, if you were an American living during this time period, these 13 days were the longest 13 days because at any time, the end of the world could have happened. All right. Now, I hope this was clear. If it's not, send me a message through Remind, an email. Okay. I'm here to help you. So just let me know. Okay. If there's any problems, a message away. If not, stay safe, stay well, and hope to see you all soon.